Katie. What brought you into my office today?
I was in the hallway without a pass.
Oh, okay. Without a pass. Where were you coming from?
Lunch.
Lunch. Anything good for lunch?
Didn't eat.
Didn't eat. All right. What was before lunch?
Class.
Class. Okay. What class?
Math.
Math.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you went to math. Did you go to the lunchroom?
Yeah.
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 Okay. Why didn't you want to stay in lunch?
I was hungry.
Wasn't hungry? Oh, that's all right. I mean, sometimes I don't want to eat either. All right. So you went to lunch, but you weren't hungry, so you left. All right. Would you where were you trying to go?
There was a book in my locker. Figured I'd go get it.
A book in your locker?
Yeah.
Are you usually required to get a pass when you leave the lunchroom?
I mean, yeah, but it's like 2 hallways away.
Yeah. Probably could be pretty time consuming just to get a pass to come back.
Yeah. There wasn't any teachers in sight either, so I just went and got one.
Okay. Were you gonna go back to the lunchroom?
I'd find my way back eventually.
Okay. Got it. So you went to go get your book, but you went without a pass. Is there anything I'm missing behind why?
Well, I mean, everyone was talking about all their college acceptance letters, and it just was. It's a touchy subject.
Okay. Yeah, it is around that time for college, huh? Are you applying?
Yeah.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And have you gotten a letter yet?
Not the one I wanted.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sure that probably is really hard to hear.
That is what it is.
So college is the goal?
Ultimately. Just gotta get there.
What are you trying to go for?
Something smart sounding. I don't know.
Okay. So you were in lunch and they were talking about that? The letters?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The thing is when you're sitting around a whole bunch of people getting their college acceptance letters and you just got denied, that's not exactly the place you want to be.
Oh, no. I get that. That probably was, a really uncomfortable situation. Or maybe even hard. How'd that make you feel? Like in that moment?
Shitty.
Okay. So, with not getting that college letter, that's the reason you got up and left? Is that really why you...
Yeah.
Did that, make you not hungry? Were you hungry prior to going to lunch?
I guess.
It's okay if you weren't.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, there's times I don't want to eat myself. I'm just not hungry. Sometimes we're not in the mood.
I think we eat lunch at fucking 11 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty early.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to make sure I'm getting everything right. You went to lunch. Weren't really that hungry though. Prior to going there anyway. And you were sitting and everyone's talking about the college letter. So, and you didn't get the news you particularly wanted, so that was pretty hard, having to hear everyone else talk about it. So you got up and went to go get a book with no pass. When you left the lunchroom and you were going to get your book, did anything happen when you were in the hallway other than the teacher finding you and they'll pass? No?
Not really, no.
Okay. So the teacher only sent you down here because you didn't have a pass?
Yeah, I was a little upset. So I wasn't exactly the cheeriest of people.
I mean, that's okay. Like, we have emotions. It's okay to feel the way that you're feeling. I guess more what I'm trying to figure out is, I was just wondering if anything happened, or if it was just pass. You know, like.
Well, I mean, I did tell her to fuck off, so maybe that might have done it.
Okay. Yeah. No. So we might have let our emotions get the best of us.
Maybe.
Yeah. And you know, that happens sometimes. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to tell me about everything before I can?
About it.
All right. Well, I want you to know, in case you're, like, it's a thought in the back of your head, like, you're not here because you're in trouble. I'm not gonna get you in trouble. We're just here to talk, and I want to help you through whatever it may be. So it sounds like, you know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you kind of got a little frustrated about what was happening, and you let your emotions get the best of you, and we kind of took that out on the teacher when they confronted you about not having a pass. Does that sound about right? Yeah. So, I mean, this probably won't be the only time, you know, something happens where it kind of frustrates us or gets us mad or upset, or some, you know, emotion that isn't necessarily the emotions we always want. What do you think you could have done differently with that situation?
Chosen my words a bit more carefully.
Chosen your words a bit more carefully. Okay, so if you were back in the hallway and the teacher comes up without and notices you without the pass, what might have you done differently if you were able to go back into that situation right
now? Probably would have just explained the situation, that I was just going to get a book quick and I was going to be right back, and just ask her for a pass if I needed it. But, hindsight's 20/20.
Okay, yeah. Now let's say that, you know, it is to the point where, like, your emotions are kind of just, like, really overwhelming to the point where, you know, you might say something that, or do something that you don't mean because they're just so high. Do you think that there's anything that you could do or would want to do to help you kind of control them a little better? Is there anything that might help with that?
Probably.
Do you have any ideas about what might help you?
Thinking before I open my trap.
Yeah. I guess what I'm more getting at is, I want you to be able to have, like, a safe space, right? Because sometimes those emotions get to the point where we can't think about what we're doing because they're just so high. But, you know, recognizing that it's starting to get to that point. So, for example, with this lunchroom situation, they were really building up because it was just a very hard situation. But, like, what about the thought of maybe, you know, recognizing that we're getting to that point? Do you think maybe coming down here and having, like, your own self space might help?
Probably.
Yeah. So, I mean, no matter what situation you're in, you're always welcome to come down here. And no questions asked. If you just need a space to like sit and think, you can sit in my office. And if you want to be alone, you're more than welcome to do that for a couple minutes to just de-escalate whatever's going on. Would that sound like something you might want to do in the future?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I do have one last question for you. Just kind of regarding the situation, because I want to make sure I have a good idea of like what's going on. Is that something that happens like frequently for you? Is that like emotions kind of get overwhelming?
In serious situations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the life-altering ability to go to college.
Yeah. No, of course. Of course. Like, so things, it's just when those situations arise. Okay. But yeah, so coming down here would be potentially a good option. Now, how would you go about asking to come down here potentially? How do you think you could go about that?
Well, now that I know that I need to pass all the time, just probably ask for one of those things.
Yeah. I mean, but let's say your emotions are really high, and you don't want to deal with people, and you don't want to wait for them to sign the pass. Is there a way that we can potentially communicate that with somebody? Say we're coming straight down here, and people will realize that we don't need the pass because you're coming straight here. Because I can communicate that with the staff. Like, they would know that. Is that something you want to do?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
If it's necessary.
Yeah, no, if it's necessary. Only if we need it, correct? Right? So, let's think about this in the situation of, because it's still fresh, right? What if we're now in a class, but we have a sub, and you're just doing free work, so you hear all the rest of your friends kind of talking about it again, and those emotions start to come back. What could we do in that situation?
I guess I can just go tell the sub that I need a minute.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know if, since it's a sub, if she would know what that means, but something tells me she'd figure it out.
Yeah, no, of course. So, what do you mean by need a minute? What would you...
Just say that I'm going to see you, and just like, obviously they know what you do here, so.
Yeah. Of course. And then we'd come straight here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless I need to book out of my locker.
Well,
Kidding.
Come here, and then maybe we can go get the book together. That way, I'm your pass, right?
Yeah.
That way you don't even have to get the pass, and
right.
No teacher's gonna ask you because you're with me, right?
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think, it sounds like you got a lot going on in life, and I really hope everything works out for you because I think you got a bright future. I know you and the work that you've been doing in school. But I want to, try that, using this as a safe space for you, and see how that goes moving forward. Sounds good?
Sounds good.
All right. Let's do it. I didn't like that one.